Nobody here. That's okay. Hello, hello, hello. I have to join in on the Twitter space first. Hello, hello, hello. Okay, cool. Just make sure we got audio. What's up? YouTube and Twitter. What's up? Good intentions. Good to see you on the Twitter side. We're doing God first, honor, loyalty, respect. Nice, man. That's awesome. Drop you a follow back. Just doing a quick show. We're on YouTube. We're live on the YouTube. We're going to be reading comments on the YouTube side of things. Also going to be bringing up speakers on the Twitter side of things to talk about really anything crypto that you want to talk about, anything that's on your mind, any projects that you're excited for, really just anything. So one of the things I'm going to be focusing on is kind of what I built my channel off of, and that is the topic of SafeMoon, for which I am blocked. I have a good relationship with the SafeMoon community. They hate me and I don't hate them. That's pretty much the basis of my relationship with the SafeMoon community. I'm blocked by SafeMoon, and many people within that community just haven't realized why they hate me, and that it's actually, they don't hate me. They just need to take some glasses off and they'll be able to see again. What's up, everybody down in the chat? You guys are definitely welcome to come up, talk about anything crypto, anything you want to talk about. It's just fully relaxed space. It's just open to everybody on the YouTube side of things and the Twitter side of things. And I actually want to talk about a comment, and it's kind of interesting. So Crypto Knighting on Twitter said, I have a feeling SafeMoon is working on something big this month. Being our birthday month, it's been too quiet. Any clues? SafeMoon, Captain Hodl, has 140 likes. So like, yeah, if you post, speculatively, positively about SafeMoon, people are going to support you, right? You're going to get likes. You're going to get all kinds of stuff. So they're basically saying, hey, John's quiet, so that must be a good thing. They must be working on something big, right? Even though last year, the big thing he was working on was like escaping the Gambia, because he, he went down there to try to convince them to cut out his mom from the deal from the Operation Phoenix and everything. And they basically said, hey, kick dirt. And so he took some kind of like truck and like ran off and paid to get out of there. That's the story. And I don't know how much truth there is to that. So I just posted, the reason he's so quiet is he's dealing with lawsuits, right? Because he's in the middle of court right now. He's in the middle of like potentially settling with people outside of, certain people, but that really upset people. It's like, yeah, he's so quiet right now because he's having to do all these lawsuits and stuff. Yeah, if anybody wants to come up, you're definitely welcome to. If not, I'm just going to be covering a little bit of information lately on these topics. And so I just said he's dealing with lawsuits, and then somebody said, here is the, oh no, he blocked me. Damn, man, I can't do anything. I get blocked so fast. So this is hilarious. This is such a great, and it's like nothing against this guy, right? It's not like, oh, everybody should hate this guy. It's just kind of like, this is what happens when you have the blinders on. I'm not even judging you as like a worse person or anything, but I just said he's dealing with lawsuits, and that's why he's busy. And and then the guy said, oh, he posted a GIF or a meme or whatever saying that I'm begging for attention. He said, a drop of attention, please. And so I posted, here is that attention you wanted, back at him. And then he said, you'll do anything to stay relevant. And I said, join my space, let's talk about it. And then he blocked me. And it's just like, oh, it's such bad behavior. It's delusion followed by hypocritical ridiculing of anybody who points out the obvious, followed by blocking and like not willing to have a conversation. Because this guy could have easily come up on stage and I would say, hey man, what's going on? What do you think about this? Why do you hate me? And it basically would come down to like, well, you're saying negative things about SafeMoon and I don't like that, and that's why I personally attack you and say that you're irrelevant and all these things. So yeah, if you're on the YouTube side of things, do me a favor, hit the like button. I really appreciate that. I get $10,000 for every like that you guys drop. In my mind, it's not real. And if you're on the Twitter side of things, I'd really appreciate somebody coming up and sharing your thoughts on really anything that is really like heavy on your mind within the crypto lately, like whether or not you think it's done, where do you think Bitcoin's going, what projects are you looking at that you're super bullish on? How do you feel about SafeMoon? How do you feel about Evergrow? How do you feel about Vitreous? Really, really, any of those topics are up for grabs. And I'm going to just be doing the show occasionally. What the goal of this show, of why I'm doing this, is to try to build a space where we can have discussions and help each other find good projects, and not just find good projects, but also help each other avoid scams and help each other be able to look at like what is the structure of what causes a project to blow up, like Shiba Inu or something, like breaking those ideas down so that whenever we as we grow in our knowledge and helping each other and talking about these things as they come, because we're headed into a bull market, right? Like everybody believes we're headed into a bull market. The Bitcoin halving is going to be, I think it's like March 14th in a year, so it's like in less than a year now. Hey, Sir Kentrell on the YouTube side of things, thank you for that $10,000, bro. I appreciate that. It's not real. He just commented 10,000, and I don't even think you can give 10,000. And then it's always like right after the Bitcoin halving that the price goes insane. Last time the price went insane, we went to like what 69K. So next time, I don't know why people throw out the number 200K. So there's this huge, potential to maybe take some of your gains that you have and put them in Bitcoin and then look for that, right now it'd be like around a 10x, if it went to around 200K, a little less than that. So there's just this huge opportunity. But outside of the Bitcoin and the safer plays that we all believe is going to happen, um, there's going to be all these projects. Like I think there's going to be some other safe, right? And like there's such a small percentage of people in the world that are into Bitcoin and crypto. So mass adoption is the huge thing that everybody's talking about. It's going to happen, and as that happens, we're going to see reoccurring patterns. And as we see these reoccurring patterns, we're going to see another SafeMoon pop up, and tons of people who have never, it's not going to be called SafeMoon, it's going to be called something else. Whatever the idea is, people are going to be sold on it. Tons of people are going to buy in. There's going to be liquidity taken. It's going to be insane, right? And for me, like the goal of this space is just to make life-changing money. I don't really care about any of the other nonsense. I don't care about becoming a maxi and like attacking people or any, like none of that stuff matters to me. We're just trying to make money in this space. And, it's interesting to look at like, the digital world and how this is going to affect the future of currency and governments and all that stuff. I find that interesting, but I'm mostly just here to try to make $1 million and take care of my family and stuff, right? And I think most people are in that for the same reasons as well. Um, so I think that, and I'm sure there's people that have broken it down. I was talking with Generation Crypto in the last Twitter space that I did last night about like breaking down what is the idea that people bought into, and can you look at a project, look at its layout, and say, is this an idea? Because that's all it is. It's people buying into an idea. With SafeMoon, people bought into an idea, and why did that idea explode? Well, it's safely to the moon. It kind of just promises them their dreams, right? And people believe that. So I think that played a huge role in it, SafeMoon, as well as how many people got behind it before the price really dumped. Because I think if the price had dumped really hard on SafeMoon at the beginning, everybody would have given up and that FOMO would have stopped. But the FOMO, I think, was allowed to go on for quite a while. And so it really was an Operation Phoenix and a lot of these huge things that John Crony was talking about and saying we're going to be, the next currency in the Gambia. We're going to be doing windmills, turbines, hydrophilic, like all these huge buzzwords that ended up being like nothing, unfortunately. Before any of that happened, SafeMoon was bought into. It was an idea that was bought into, and maybe the structure of looking at an idea and being like, does this have the right components that it will cause a ton of people to buy into it, and does it have the right setup to let that grow, like in the sense that it's not going to get rugged, or there's not tons of people that are on the team that hold a huge portion of the tokens. Hey, what's up, William McLaren on the YouTube side of things? Good to see you, man. What's up, Taymoon? What's up, Tooleye? What's up, Awesome? Great to have you guys. And like I said, whatever you guys want to say, I'm just interacting with you guys and talking with you guys about what's going on. And I just kind of want to do this show more often and start to grow in our knowledge and understanding of the crypto space. And like for me, the goal is it's purely how do I make $1 million? Like that's my first goal, is I want to hit 1 million. I hit 100K before, it felt great and all that stuff. And that was kind of some of the ideas that me and Generation Crypto were exploring, is kind of the addictions that people get when they go to the casino. Like, I don't know if you guys have ever been to a casino, but you lose like most of the time. So it's like, why do people do it? Well, they get addicted to what it feels like to win. And you know, for me, experiencing a bag size go up to 200K, it's like it's nothing now. And I actually ended up selling that position and looking for a reentry point to experience that. I'm not addicted to that feeling. That feeling was amazing of like, okay, I'm on 10K, I'm on 20K, 50, 100. Like I've never seen that money in my life. I've never had more than 10K in my entire life until like the last year when I pulled out my 401K to support me while I pursued YouTube, and that led me into the crypto career, which is a nice gamble, but it is an interesting risk, but it's worth it, I think. Um, so it's like we're looking for those components of the projects in this next bull run. There's going to be projects that are going to make millionaires. That's guaranteed, right? It's like 99% guaranteed, in my opinion. There might be people who think that Bitcoin will be done and maybe XRP or some other project is going to take over Bitcoin. But in my opinion, Bitcoin is going to go on another bull run. It has every time for the Bitcoin halving, and it's coming soon. You only have like a year to like find these right projects or to be ready when the right projects are coming out during that time. Because as more mass adoption happens, I believe there's going to be even more projects being made. And maybe, you know, depending on the SEC and how projects are made, maybe there'll be a better, more trustworthy setup than just scam going from one project to the other, direct pulling your people like we've seen in the past year, just insane amount of scammers and just crap projects and rug pulls and team talk. Just it's made everybody not trust any project, so that even good projects have a hard time getting momentum. Pulse Chain in Yorkshire on the YouTube side of things says SafeMoon had the sauce, but the leadership were not up to it. Yeah, that's another thing is like, I just want to say this is when people say to me or to you guys, like, oh, why would I listen to you? You're an idiot who promoted SafeMoon. It's like, no, 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 you're an idiot. Because check this out. SafeMoon had every reason to be bullish. They had a huge name, a huge brand, a huge audience, huge reach. Everybody wanted to be promoted by SafeMoon. If they just had good leadership, if they had experienced, honest leaders in the space, we would have been fine. John Caroni apparently took from the liquidity pool in the millions of dollars at a massive scale. John Caroni, and guys, and that's another part of the story that I don't think people know quite yet. The deal with Operation Phoenix and his mom's company, Emmy Nations Communications Group, the one that his uncle and his brother left SafeMoon to work at. They were working for SafeMoon, and they're both working for Emmy Nations Communications Group, which is working on this new type of technology, from what I understand, that seems groundbreaking to almost the future of the world. Right? It wasn't a small deal, and when you hear about, I don't know how much is public or what's been talked about that, but what we put, what, and if that could have been tied to SafeMoon in a way that increased the price of SafeMoon, that would have been insane. That would have been everything that John had said it was going to be, in the sense of being this global, huge, life-changing thing. Then him and his mom don't jive well. She starts to be like, where's your funding coming from? They start having some disagreements on the funds, and then now they won't see each other without a lawyer. Now they're suing each other. And like that's off the table, right? With the technology that Emmy Nations Communications Group is working on, that could have been this groundbreaking, life-changing move for SafeMoon is off the table. We had every opportunity. SafeMoon could have just put out an NFT marketplace in the very beginning, and they would have had so many people pump that thing, and that other NFT people would have wanted to be on it. Now that SafeMoon has waited until like the end of its lifespan, until most of its community has been destroyed, there's still people left. There's still people like listening in SafeMoon and paying attention to it. It's nothing compared to what it is. I mean, I could probably, with a good SafeMoon video, if I talked about how to make $1 million on SafeMoon video, if I put that out now, it would probably get 3,000 to 4,000 views, right? And that's me not fudding SafeMoon. That's me giving a video that they want to hear about. If you put this much money in, you'll get $1 million. and back in the day, it would have been 40,000 views. If you go look at my $1 million video back in the day, it was 40K views. So the community for SafeMoon has died way down. But anybody that says you're an idiot for talking about SafeMoon or believing in SafeMoon it's just not true. It's not as if we knew all along that John Caroni was suing his mom and that deal was off the table, and we knew that John took from the liquidity and that John bought himself a mansion and that John did all these things that are just like the worst case scenario for SafeMoon. And all of those things affected the liquidity, which affected the price. It was like there's no way to magically pull from liquidity and not take from your investors. They try to make these market maker arguments that with the Bitmart deal, Bitmart was the ones taking the loss and it wasn't us with our liquidity, and it was this hypothetical Hail Mary pass to the end of the field, hoping that maybe this, by chance, John didn't take from liquidity. When we can go look at his publicly known wallets and see like I forget what it is. It's 10 to 20 million dollars in tether going from Bitmart to John Crony's wallets and him off ramping. And then John publicly, you can go find exactly when he pulls out the money, and it's like days later that that exact amount of money is used to buy the house, the mansion, in Utah. All the meanwhile, all the promises are they're not coming through with the team. And like my main point in saying all that, anybody's welcome to come up on the stage on the Twitter side or on the YouTube side. If you have something you want me to read, go ahead and say it. Is that you're not an idiot for believing in SafeMoon. You might be self-deceiving yourself if after CoffeeZilla has put out all this information, after the blockchain has come out, after the Moondog NFT has come out, after the team is left like 5 times, like we lost Kyle, we lost Hank, we lost Thomas, we lost Ryan, we lost Jonas, we lost just everybody over and over and over again. That at this point, yeah, I would say, okay, now you've reached a point of there's some delusion to say that all that information is just, there's no weight to it, right? It could be anything, John Crony getting 20 million from Bitmart and us knowing publicly from team members that worked with him that said, John said, we're going to be put in a new tax bracket and we're going to make a ton of money off the Bitmart deal. Everything connects, but to just treat all that like it just has zero weight to it. And at the same time, believe that because John has been quiet the past month, that he's probably working on something big. And then to get upset at people who judge you, it's like, yeah, it's like this small group of people within the SafeMoon army that make it look really bad. They hype about everything without any weight to it, and then they judge anybody that has actual weight against the team, right? And I've kind of reached a point where I'm like, I don't see any point in doing this anymore. It's so obvious. It's already been put out there enough. There is no point in doing this anymore. But whenever I do see them coming out and like attacking me and saying I just want attention and stuff like that, it's like, dude, the hypocrisy like knows no ends with those glasses on. You just got to take those glasses off. But that's enough about SafeMoon. I mean, honestly, I'll say a couple more things about the future of SafeMoon, of where we're at. They are, well, I think we're in a potential point with the lawsuits going on where we might actually find out a lot of information because I think a lot of the information is concealed. And if it gets made known public, then we would find out a ton of things, unless it's hard to keep up with all the lawsuits. I don't think they're connected because there's the one with his mom and there's the one with the people that were suing him as influencers. And they said that they dropped that one and everybody celebrated, but it wasn't actually dropped. It was just moved to another state so they can combine them all into one. And it's just been like absolute craziness going on. But I think that we are going to start finding out a little bit more details about what has been going on behind the scenes with SafeMoon and the lawsuits. And I don't think it's going to look good. Like, I honestly don't see SafeMoon going anywhere except for continuously down. I think information that comes out is only going to make John look even worse. And that, to me, like the fact we didn't really have a space or talk about this because I kind of quit covering SafeMoon. I like briefly talked about it. The fact that Jonas and who is that other guy? I don't know if anybody remembers the John's like right-hand man, that guy with the crew cut or whatever in that video. I can't remember his name. But basically, the guy said we could all take, if you guys go back and watch some of the SafeMoon 32 things, he said we could all take different jobs paying more, but we're choosing to be here. And he says, and that in itself says something, And it's like, okay, they quit. So does that in itself say something, or are we not allowed to apply that both ways? Like, no, you're not allowed to. It doesn't mean anything, They just, and it's like that's another point that I would make with like maxis or whatever. It's like, my point is not to like just say you're an idiot. It's like just to reason with you. And it's like, yeah, it's potential that the team quit because, hey, what's up, Liddy? D Liddy in the chat. Good to see you as well, man. Stepping up your presence. Yeah, I'm going to try to do these more often. Just engage with you guys, talk with you guys, learn from you guys. You guys come up and teach me what you know about crypto and what's the best way to go, what's the best project, what's the best approach. And the goal is to help each other do well in this next bull run that's coming really soon. But when it comes back to the team quitting, it's just like that doesn't speak like, oh, this is the next huge project and I want to stay here, because when this project actually takes off, not only, I mean, if you think about it, if you were on the SafeMoon team and you knew that they had these insane products that they were about to release, and you knew that if you were one of the faces of it, which Jonah and Jonas and that other guy were, and then that's going to have a huge implications for your future, for the money that you're going to make while you're on the team, while that's happening, because tons of money is going to be coming in, right? tons of sponsorships, tons of swap partners. If SafeMoon ever blew up, the swap partners would be going insane. Everybody would want to be on the SafeMoon swap, right? You'd make so much money, and and you would also be able to probably get any job as far as like in the DeFi space. They'd be like, this is the guy. We have this guy from this successful thing. And the fact that people keep leaving over and over and over again, the fact that John's brother left, the fact that Thomas quit, the fact that Ryan quit, had his debacle or whatever it was with John. It just screams that when you get in there and you see what's going on the inside, it makes you want to leave and not be a part of it. So if anybody wants to come up and have a counter discussion about SafeMoon, you're definitely welcome to. My goal is never to just crap on anything. Like I don't have any ill will towards SafeMoon, and a lot of people didn't understand this. Is I built my YouTube channel on SafeMoon. Like I crypto control. Only talked about SafeMoon, right? And so for me to have to say, you know what, I prefer my channel to do well and to make a living off of SafeMoon videos. I could make SafeMoon videos every day and make good ones too, like math, volume, like good stuff that people enjoy watching with music and it's edited and everything. And I could make a living off of SafeMoon doing that. But I can't do that now because it was like, it's not because they thought I'm going to talk bad about SafeMoon so that I can get more exposure, so I can get more views. It was the opposite. It was like, I know that if I do this, that I'm destroying like what I built my name on, which was the topic of SafeMoon. But to me, it's more important to tell the truth to people at the most important times. Like if you go back and you look at the history of SafeMoon, maybe some people here and people on the YouTube side, while these things were going down, while Thomas and these things were going down with, with Thomas quitting and Ryan quitting and all the FUD and the wallet not launching and all this stuff, that was critically important to investors at that time, not months later. So the people that said, no, wait until an official source with Thomas leaving, and John and Thomas said he's not effing leaving, and then he left like a month or two later, which makes both of them, unfortunately, liars concerning that specific topic. That was the most important time to tell the truth. And I think that's how it is in the world, is sometimes the most important time to speak the truth is the hardest time to endure the backlash from speaking that truth to those who oppose it, right? So, and that applies to like politics or even the morality of the world. But just generally speaking, it's unfortunate and it's rough that if the crypto project that you're interested in, that you're a part of, you're a community, maybe you've built a name off of that community, starts to have some shady information come out about the devs, or maybe not even the devs, but about a potential flaw in the contract or whatever. Like to suppress that, it affects everybody else, the people who might have a huge position who need to sell, or maybe somebody doesn't have a huge position, but they just need that money and they need to sell. So it's so extremely important to consider that everybody's money's on the line and you need to let people decide for themselves, right? And we need to be able to talk realistically about positively and negatively circumstances as they come out and when it's most important. And I don't know if you guys remember SafeMoon Whale. He was a YouTuber. He was a whale in SafeMoon. I think he has a really interesting story. If you don't know SafeMoon Whale's story, I think he saved up $10,000 to $100,000. I forget what it was. It was a lot of money. I think 100,000. And I think he said, I'm looking for one crypto to put this in. And he gambled it all on one crypto, right? And he made good money, so it wasn't like, I think he worked oil fields and they make a ton of money, but it's still 100K, 10 to 100K, like insane amount of money, right? For most people. Even today, if you have $1 million, 10 to 100,000 is still a lot of money. He put it all on SafeMoon and he hit big, and his rewards were at one point were like $15,000 a day. I did an interview discussing that with me and him, and Joe became friends. SafeMoon had so much going for it. It's always just such a tragedy what it was and what it became and what happened to it. And SafeMoon Whale, you can still go watch my live. If you go watch the live with Thomas and everything that's going down, you'll find the part where SafeMoon Whale comes onto my live stream and he, sorry, my voice is like all jacked up. Yeah, that didn't fix it. I'll have to do that again. He basically says, hey, I need to tell you something off stream. So I mute my stream. I say, what's going on, man? He says, I'm selling, and this is your opportunity to get out. And I'm telling you guys this. I've said this before, but some of you guys might not have heard this. And I'm live. We're both live with a lot of people watching SafeMoon going, what the hell is going on? Why is these people quitting? Why are these people getting fired? Why is Thomas talking about quitting? I thought everything was fine, and now everybody's dipping, and that's like the last thing you want. So, but if you do YouTube and stuff and you start to, or even Twitter or whatever, or moderator, you guys know that you build connections, right? And you can make connections on the inside, just like I have connections on the inside of certain things, and I'm not allowed to talk about what they tell me. But I never try to use that as an advantage to take advantage of the people that I'm listening to. So when he told me that, it was because he had found out that basically Thomas wasn't on the team. He didn't want to be there, but he was going to pretend to be on the team to save face, right? And for him, that was out. Like he believed in Thomas, and if you remove Thomas from the equation, he's done. He sold his position, and he sold it at a loss. Like he had millions, and I think he sold it for like only like around $1 million or something. And then he moved to Puerto Rico, so he didn't have to pay the taxes. Like genius move. And then he filmed the Vice documentary. You can go find this Vice documentary on YouTube. Sorry about my voice, guys. And I was like yelling at somebody earlier because I had this crazy ass day where this stalker came to my girlfriend, and then one of her coworkers started screaming at her. So I told her, like, don't scream at my girlfriend. And I was screaming at her. So my voice is jacked up. And I know it's a lot of information to take in like 5 seconds. But then he quit, and he sold at the best time to sell. He didn't look at that and say, no, we'll wait. We'll wait for the official information. He looked at it. He said, I'm out. And it ended up being one of the best decisions of his life. Now he's in Puerto Rico with his girlfriend. He's well off. He has tons of money to support him. So it's just really important, like, for people to consider that it's not just you and your bag and how much you have, and view everybody from the perspective of your bag, right? There's people that have hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars on the line. There's people who really need that money. And you got to be honest. You can't just be out here reinforcing everybody to think, no, 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 no. Anything negative is probably not true, and everything positive probably is. You're only going to hurt yourself, and you're only going to hurt other people. And unfortunately, people are still doing that for SafeMoon. I always said when I was covering SafeMoon in a positive manner that you could sell right now because the price just keeps going down. And this is when everybody loved me who watched me back then, because I always talked positively about it. And I was like, you guys could probably sell because the price just keeps going down, and buy back in. I was like, there's a chance that it might skyrocket and maybe you miss that opportunity. But according to the pattern that we can see, it just keeps going down. Let me grab a drink. On the YouTube side, Crypto, just want to say thank you. This comes from Supreme Craig. It says, Crypto, just want to say thank you for putting me on to EGC extremely early in the last bull run. Even though I didn't sell it, my high in my account went up to 50K from $500 investment. Thank you, dude. You're so welcome, Supreme Craig. That's another thing is a lot of people say, I've been getting comments lately say, why would I take any advice from you? And I just keep telling people, did you not listen to me on SafeMoon? Did you not hear me talk about SafeMoon? Because you're trying to act like I've only talked about bad projects. But the truth is that whenever I talked about Evergrow, that gave everybody who listened, and I didn't tell people, guys, you have to listen to me. This is guaranteed. I said, guys, I'm super bullish on this. I don't know. We might lose our money, but this is why I love this project, was the burn and all this stuff. That was an opportunity to make hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars. And I have so many people that I know that thank me randomly. Hey, thank you for telling me about Evergrow. Like, that's what I want to do, is just tell people about a good project that makes them money. So you're definitely welcome, Supreme Craig, and thanks for that shout out as well. I have people that hate me, by the way. People, I think in 365, they despise me. They hate my spaces. They hate my tone, my personality. I don't know why. They just hate me. And they say, man, I really hate you and I don't like anything about you, but thank you for telling me about Evergrow. And I'm like, you're welcome, man. That's fine. Are you still holding your SafeMoon? I do have my SafeMoon, but it's because I don't have a lot in there. I was looking at my bags recently and considering, like, getting rid of all my crappy positions and moving into something that I trust. I do have a Discord, actually. I don't have the link. I need to put that link on my Twitter. I'll put it on my Twitter and on the YouTube from now on. And if you want to reach out to me, you can definitely do it from Twitter or the YouTube side of things. If you're on the Twitter side of things, feel free to come up and talk about really anything, anything crypto, the Bitcoin, the next bull run. What do you think the best strategy is to pick out the next project that's going to blow up? Because we know that there's going to be some project, someone's going to throw in 100 just messing around, and they're going to make like millions of dollars. Like, that just happens. And so I really am probably going to start focusing my attention on studying those cases that have happened and trying to find as many common factors as I can, and create a type of like lens that you can look through and judge other projects by, to say, does this fit the criteria? Is this a new idea that's going to catch people's attention, that's going to explode? Is there any whales? Is there any ability to turn cells off? Is there, all those things? And okay, a couple hundred here, a couple hundred there. And then hopefully in the next bull run, we can get in on the right projects, make those hundreds of thousands to millions of dollars, and do what it is we're aiming to do. Like that's the goal, right? Let me grab a drink, and if anybody on the Twitter side wants to come up, you can shoot me a message if it's not showing, and I'll pull you up. If you want to talk about SafeMoon and your experience with it, you're totally fine. I I have a negative look towards SafeMoon, but I never use that to invalidate like other people. Like I don't judge you if you love SafeMoon or if you believe in John. I only like start to judge people, and it's not even my judgment. It's just if you take your own standard and you apply it against yourself, you judge yourself. If you are over here, I'm not saying you guys are, but many of the people who do this, making an infinite amount of excuses for John, and then everything else that happens, you judge. So John gets the excuse no matter what, and anybody that questions John gets the assumption of being evil and doing it for selfish reasons. Then that standard, if you just apply that standard to yourself, then you're an asshole, right? You're contradict your own self. And the goal is not like to like just make people feel really crappy about themselves whenever I talk about that or whenever you guys talk about that with other people. Your goal shouldn't be to like let people know how stupid and delusional they are, because they're just another human being who's bought into an idea. The goal is just to be like, dude, stop being that way. Take off your SafeMoon glasses and wake up and start being respectful to people. Stop being delusional. At least I think that's the should be your goal, is to like help people, even if they seem delusional and hateful and stuff. It's like, hey man, I'll forgive all that you've said about me, all your lies about me doing this for money and to steal investors. I'll forgive all that bullcrap. Just stop. You know what I mean? That's kind of my position. Also, this video is sponsored by Uptime. It's actually not, but there's this energy drink called Uptime energy drink, and they have the tastiest energy drinks. They have no effects like Red Bull or Monster, any of that stuff. I'm addicted to these things, and they're really healthy. They also have like L-theanine. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but it's something that works in your system to like calm you down and stuff. So you kind of get this like relaxed, calm feeling while drinking an energy drink that has 0 sugar and I think 0 carbs as well. But yeah, I'm gonna open it up. Anybody down there want to come up on the Twitter side of things? Do you guys have anything that you want to say? Somebody come up here on stage with me. Come talk to me. Don't be shy. I actually, I'll say this while I'm trying to find my drink. My girlfriend, she had a stalker 2 years ago that like followed her to her gym and like stared at her while she worked out. And then she she had and then he followed her to her church, and it's like this older guy. So my day started with getting a call and saying, hey, my stalker's here, and she's like on the verge of crying. Hey, whoever just requested, I approved it, but it looks like it didn't go through. If you want to shoot that request again. And I'll keep my messages open. If somebody can't get up, just shoot me a message. So I grab my gun. I have a, I have a holster that is concealed, so it's hidden underneath my pants and my shirt, so they don't know that I have a gun. I don't plan on using the gun unless I really need to, right? Like I'll use fist before I use my gun if I have to. So I'm driving like 80 down the highway today to get there, and he barely leaves before I get there, and so I'm staying with her, waiting for her coworker to get there. And then her coworker she's one of those people. It's kind of an interesting situation because it really does apply to what we're talking about, which is how you allow people to treat you as the power that you give over them, right? And same thing applies to like John Crony and the team, or really any crypto project. If you enable John's behavior by making excuses for him, then you only empower him to be that way all more. He knows that no matter what, somebody's got an excuse up their sleeve for him. He knows that no matter what they do, it's always going to be spun in a positive light. And what you do is you end up enabling bad behavior, right? And so we're having this conversation about this. And I'm talking about, I'm like, babe, I need to talk to this guy, your stalker. I need to let him know to stay away from you, that we will take legal action, and that we will take, I will do what I need to do physically without threatening this guy to protect my girlfriend and to make sure she feels secure. And she didn't want me to message him because she thought that, well, what if he's a really weird guy and that's the thing that triggers him and makes him go crazy and want to do something even worse. And so I was kind of stuck between like not really knowing what to do, because I'm like, well, what if by the chances that I do message this guy and I say, hey man, we'd appreciate to not have any problems with you, stay away from my girl, and we've contacted the police and we've filed reports, and I will do what I have to do to protect her, which I did end up sending that message. But on the off chance that he goes and does something crazy to my girl, she'll be like, I told you he was going to do this, and you've caused this to happen to me. But at the same time, I felt more like the only reason this guy is doing this to my girlfriend is because she is one of those extremely, and like most women, generally speaking, non-confrontational. Not all of them, there's tons that aren't, but generally speaking, she will not let somebody know you're making me feel uncomfortable. She will tiptoe around it. And a lot of girls are that way with guys. Like, oh, yeah, when they feel uncomfortable, they don't want to upset the guy. So they try to just be like kind and tiptoe around it. And what that it does is it just allows him to do what he's doing because he's not being confronted. So we're having this conversation about the stalker. And obviously, this theory, this idea applies to really almost everything in life because we're talking about power and control. And the reason this guy has the ability to do what he's doing is because he feels control of the situation. There's no consequences. He can keep stalking my girlfriend. And if the cops aren't talking to him, if there's no guy approaching him, there's no threat. He's not being confronted. He's going to keep doing it. And that's where I was like, babe, you have to stand up to like, not this guy, but your coworker, because she has a coworker who treats her like absolute trash. And she gets very hostile with her. And she makes my girlfriend like on the verge of tears. And she makes everybody at work feel this way. Her name's Maria. And I was like, you guys have got to confront her. Like, the only reason she acts that way is because you guys let her act that way. So today I go up to their work, and I'm sorry about this tangent. I go up there and I'm just sitting there in case the stalker guy comes back, just killing time waiting for her to get off. And then her coworker comes in, and I can tell that she can sense that I'm not going to let her be a bully to my girlfriend. Like, it's not going to fly. I'm not going to let you talk to her that way. I'm not going to let you treat her that way. So she gets upset. She tells my girlfriend to go outside. And I thought it was just, some girl stuff or some work stuff. And then I see that girl, Maria, and she's got her finger in my girlfriend's face, like telling her off, keeps moving her finger back and forth in her face. And I was like, hell no, like, I'm not going to let you do this. This is exactly what she hates. So I go out and I get between her. And I said, why are you yelling at my girlfriend? And she like loses her freaking mind. Because I think this type of woman is such a bitch. I'm sorry. There's just women out there. They're so hateful. They're such bitches. They're just a walking pain in the ass for their husbands and for everybody around them. And this is just one of those women. And I was like, do not talk to her that way. And she goes, who the fuck do you think you are? And I said, I'm her fucking boyfriend. I was like, don't ever talk to her like that again. So and I'm not angry, I'm just not going to let you treat my girlfriend this way. And most men are this way. Most men are not going to back down, right, to each other, or especially to a woman that's being a bully to their girlfriend. Like, I'm not going to hit a woman for nothing. And I'm not trying to be like, oh, look how tough I am against this woman. But I'm not going to get afraid because you start screaming and yelling and lose your mind. And that's what I was telling my girlfriend. I was like, the only reason that this woman has control over the store is because she's telling you, if you don't do what I'm going to say, if you don't submit to me, I'll act like a total raging bitch. And that's her form of control at the store. And I'm sure you guys have met people like this in your life, that you have people that, they use it as a tool. It's like a little kid that says, if you don't get me my way, I'm going to scream and throw a fit. I'm going to act crazy until I get my way. It's a form of control. So I confronted her today, and I confronted the stalker today. I sent him a message, said, hey man, I don't know what's going on your end or how normal you think these things are, but we filed some reports. I care about her. I care about her safety. It's my job to protect her safety. I will do everything I can to protect her and to make her feel secure. So, please don't reach out to us. Please don't contact us, and please don't see her again, or we're going to have to go down this legal road. And if it has to get physical for me to protect her, I will do that. So that's been like my day to day. But it's always interesting that even those ideas, like I said, can apply to the crypto space. That if you enable people to take advantage of you, then if you don't stand up to the right people, then they're going to keep doing what they're doing. And luckily, there are groups of people that stand up to the scammers in the space, and at the times when it's needed. So we called for accountability with John Crony. Say, John, we're giving you the benefit of it. We're not even saying you're a scammer. We're not even saying you took that money. We're saying we want to know, where did you get millions of dollars before SafeMoon had any means of making profits? And did it come from the liquidity pool? Can you answer those questions? Can you tell us, I did not take any funds from the liquidity. I didn't make any money off the Bitmart deal. And I didn't profit off the back of investors while not promising, while over-promising, under-delivering, and not delivering any products. I mean, that's a huge deal. So SafeMoon, yeah, I mean, It's one of those things where it's like you could shrivel before the Safe Moon Army. It's the same thing. I could shrivel before that bitch at my girlfriend's work, or shrivel before, and pardon my French, before this stalker, and let him keep doing that to her, and let her keep treating her that way. And I'm not going to shrivel before the Safe Moon Army either. Like, to me, it's just like, no, it's like what is right, and we're doing what is right. I don't care what stands before that. Even if it's destroying my own YouTube channel, which is kind of like a dream come true to be able to work for myself, I don't care. I'm going to stand up against the Safe Moon Army and have people lie about me. And that, I think every one of you guys has probably experienced this, and you're definitely welcome to come up and talk about this, whether you had this experience with Safe Moon or with something else in your life, where it's just you stand for the truth and you reap the consequences of doing so. And the people that hate the truth, they will lie about you. They try to destroy you. They hate you for it, right? And yeah, that's how my day has been. Let me finally take a drink. Does anybody want to come up? Please come up. It says one request. There we go. Thank you, Elfima. All right, I approve. So hopefully that worked. Hey, what's going on, man? How you doing?
Hey man, Safe Moon Garage, yeah. But I've changed my name because I've tried to disassociate myself with anything Safe Moon related. So yeah, how's it going? It's been a while.
It's good. When did you like go through that transition, I guess?
Probably 3 months ago, maybe 4 months ago. I just decided I'm done now. It's yeah, it's very sad, but I agree with everything you're saying. When you look back now objectively on the outside, um, and you see that when Safe Moon was created, right at the very beginning, it was a scam. Let's be honest. There's no two ways about it. It was created as a scam, which got out of control, and then they had to turn it into something. Um, and it never transpired. They come out of all of this stuff, all of these ideas. Oh, we've got all of this tech. It was all bullshit from the beginning. Safe Moon has very much been a fake it till you make it from the very beginning, and sadly they never made it. And I think now the community's gone, the influencers have gone, the price it's on his ass. I just don't think it'll ever recover. I just don't think there's anything there. There's a company with lots of money behind it, but what are they doing? Yeah, I think it's dead, and I just think it's a shame. It's a real shame because it could have been something with the community. It could have been something, but yeah, no, I left sort of 3 4 months ago, and I slid away. Didn't make a big deal out of it. Just disappeared. And
You didn't let everybody know that you're selling and like take a picture and
no, yeah, that's lots of people do it. That's it. I'm quitting Safe Moon, and everyone then you get a million replies from people saying, "Oh, you don't have to just piss off," So I did. But I still sort of follow a few people on the sidelines, and I still come back into the spaces because I'm interested to see what's going on. But yeah, no, Safe Moon is just one of those investments I think I would just rather forget about, to be honest. But I've got a cool baseball cap to remind me though of the worst investment of my life.
did you go pretty heavy in, or like you know, I want to say
I had about 10 grand in, and I ended up with about 800 quid. So it's yeah, one of those things.
you bought near the top.
I bought I bought in week 3, so I made a bit of money in the beginning, made a little bit of profit, and then as the price started coming back down, I started buying in again, and I was buying the dip all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, all the way down. So yeah, I think I ended up putting more money in than I actually earned in the beginning.
Oh man, that's rough.
Yeah.
Was it like CoffeeZilla like the last straw for you, or was it something else?
The CoffeeZilla thing, it didn't help. I ended up on the fence with that, if I'm honest, because I know there was a lot of FUD and stuff, and so CoffeeZilla didn't help. But I think it was just after that, you'd think John would come out and like you said, put the record straight. No, it's all bullshit. This is what's actually happened. But to hear nothing, it just smacks of guilt, doesn't it? At the end of the day, you know.
Well, yeah, it's potential that things are like far worse than what we thought they were. We don't we don't have a way of telling like everything that John Caroni spent money on. We only have some of the public things that he got through his LLC, Ronin LLC. So it's just like how gross was the spending? How negligent were they towards the investors, and how much time were they actually working in a lot of those things? And that's where it's like I don't even care about like the Maxi stuff or the Judgment stuff or the drama. It's just like, okay, let's realistically talk about this project. Does it actually have any potential to make people money? And what would need to happen in order for that to happen? And like Safeman now has to combat it. One of the most like CoffeeZilla is on fire right now. He's on the Joe Rogan podcast. He went on Lex Friedman. If you don't know who Lex Friedman, these are like some of the most important people or some of the most famous podcasters of the time, and everybody loves CoffeeZilla. Like, it's not like he's like hated by some people. He's only hated by the people that he covers. And he has put SafeMoon in a very bad light. And he's the one that brought out all that information with the help of, Bootsy and the other guy. So, like, would they, even if they put out a decent product, with what remaining investors do they have left?
I totally agree. Yeah, they can bring out an exchange, or I don't know, a wallet. There's a million wallets out there. So the wallet wasn't anything special to me. It was buggy. It never worked. It was crap. Let's be honest. It was absolute shite. You were saying earlier about the NFT marketplace. If they'd done it in the beginning, it might have worked. But they're so far behind now. You've only got to look at other projects and I'm not shilling, and I'm not saying I'm invested in Grove or anything like that. But you've only got to look at other products like Grove and other cryptos who have done far more in the last 12 months than SafeMoon's done, and they just get on with it. And SafeMoon keeps saying, "Oh, we want to make sure the product's right before we release it, and this, that, and the other," but they haven't got anything. They would have released something by now if they had something half decent. And the next thing will be they'll make excuses and start saying, "Oh, we're gonna just start dropping stuff just before the next bull run," But I think, like you said, the damage has been done. The reputational damage has been done. The influencers have gone. The community's gone. I'm not saying the price won't go back up in future. If you bought now rock bottom and they released an exchange, the price probably will go back up. Most exchanges that have their own token, people do make money. But I just don't think it's this massive tech giant that people thought it was going to be. As it stands at the moment, they haven't got fuck all. And I just wouldn't put my money in it. There's so many better projects out there.
Yeah, that's one thing that like stands out to me is like I love Evergrow as well, but both Evergrow and SafeMoon are like way down. And so for me, it starts to look like not only was I bullish on these projects in the past for different reasons for each project, but if the price goes down enough, and then a couple $100 gets you a ton of tokens, and it doesn't have to go up very much to make some big returns. So, I keep that open with SafeMoon as well. I'm like, well, if the price keeps dying, which it just has been for a very long time, maybe, something will happen, and maybe there's an opportunity to make money there. Maybe you can put in and it's not saying that it'll even go anywhere near all-time high, but maybe it'll go up enough that you can get in and get out, I think that's just like the best way to approach it.
Yeah, and I think you're right. And I'm the same. If SafeMoon ever release an exchange and the price is cheap enough, it's just maybe worth chucking 500 quid back in it, because like you say, you might double your money, cover some of your early losses. But I'm certainly not going to. I came to the conclusion very, very early on that I was not going to become a millionaire through SafeMoon. It was a dream.
Right.
They sold us the dream, basically.
That's what I'm like. Whenever I was looking at like designing my own crypto, I'm like, gosh, my voice is leaving me. It sucks. But I'm like, you should approach a project for what it is and not for what it's not. And it seemed like everybody is approaching, that I can tell, a project for what it's not and selling it for an idea that it's actually not. And for the reason that the price is going to go up is kind of how I felt. So, when I was looking at my own project, I was like, the whales not selling and the price going up is like, for me, the number one utility. In my mind, if the price goes up and the whales don't sell, tons of people are going to start buying. Obviously, it can only go up like so much before people are like, there's no way that's not about to dump. But, if a healthy chart going up, then people To me, like that's the number one utility. Whenever anybody gets into any project, it's not because of these amazing promises and maybe sometimes what they're tied to if they have like a big corporation or something. But generally speaking, it's because the price has gone up so much and it like creates this FOMO that creates these other people who say, "Hey, check out my wallet." And I'm up 5x right now. And then they show their family and then they show, it just keeps going. And I think that if whales can like hold throughout that time period, then you can really get some momentum going. And like I think that's what happened with Evergrow. Evergrow just went insane. And there's huge opportunities to take profits there. Is there any projects that you're looking at right now?
I'm actually quite heavily invested in something called My Bricks Finance, which is a British company which are buying properties, renovating them, and sticking them on Airbnb. And then the plan is going to be they are going to be generating high yield through rental properties, and then you'll be sort of earning bricks tokens back in rental yield. It's a very interesting project because they've already got a couple of properties actually which they're renting out at the moment. They were trying to get FCA approval in the UK, which is obviously like the British version of your uh, SEC. So that's something I'm heavily invested in at the moment. But I've sort of, if I'm honest, there's not much out there now in small projects that I trust, much for the reasons you mentioned earlier. And I'm certainly not chucking massive amounts of money into BSC projects now. I'm sort of I've gone back to blue chip just because it's it's safer, isn't it? We know Bitcoin's going to rally at some point in probably end of this year or 2024. That's where probably most of my money is going now, back into Bitcoin, just because it's safer. Yes, all right, the returns are not going to be as big, but realistically, am I going to find that one crypto? Yes, there'll be a crypto, like you said, that someone chuck $100 in and make millions. But am I going to be the guy that's going to find it? Probably not. So I'm playing it safe now, sadly, and I think that's where SafeMoon has killed the crypto dream for a lot of people. And also a lot of people have been scammed with other scam projects. It's very sad because a lot of people were coming into the space, you know. But yeah, no, I'm sort of done with the smaller projects now. Really, I mean, there's a couple of ones that I'm sort of still interested in, but I'm mainly back in Bitcoin now.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's just like we're kind of going through a phase right now. It's like every it's like that law, like every action there's an equal and opposite reaction or whatever. It's like we have to work our way through all these different phases of the scammers and all this stuff until we maybe do get some regulations set up that are clear so that maybe there's a platform that will kind of be designed, and there might already be one out there where when people go through that, you at least know that they're not going to rug, right? And you at least know that, hey, if you buy on this, platform, then the people definitely will be held accountable. Or maybe it's even insured and it'll be a much safer place to invest in projects that are actually designed for the people.
Yeah, but funny you should say that, right? Because that's what we thought the SafeMoon swap was going to be, and then there turned out to be a ton of old shit on that. Um, Partners pulling out, taking their liquidity, and you just think, oh, okay, yeah. That was supposed to be people were investing in just about everything that was going on the SafeMoon swap because it was a SafeMoon partner and they trusted SafeMoon so much. They thought everything was going to be a safe thing, but even that didn't turn out to quite be as it was sold to us, did it?
That turned out to be the disaster beyond disastrous because it was like Chris Harris was convincing his followers on SafeMoon because he had one of the biggest Twitter spaces at the time, SafeMoon After Dark. And I don't even follow him anymore because, unfortunately, the person he's just two-faced and manipulative. But he felt threatened by the YouTubers, so he tried to turn all the Twitter SafeMoon people against the YouTubers. Yeah. Because SafeMoon, YouTube, Twitter war, which is kind of funny. And that led to what was it you just said?
Well, see, partially as well. The SafeMoon community, whilst it's a good thing having a good community, the SafeMoon community, it got so big that we then had these interpersonal wars, different people warring against each other and different factions and people picking sides, and it all just got really messy, didn't it? And it didn't, in the end, it didn't really do a lot of good for SafeMoon as a whole, because people on the outside looking in were just seeing all of these people at each other's throats and warring, and it just
Well, here's what happened. They became such SafeMoon maxis. They said you cannot talk about any other project outside of SafeMoon. And if you use SafeMoon's name in any way, if you build your platform, whether you have a Twitter platform, you have SafeMoon in your picture or whatever it is, if you use that to talk about any other project, you're using SafeMoon to promote another project's name. And they would cancel culture you for doing that. So I went on a space with Chris Harris and Addict, and I debated that with them, with anybody who came up on stage. And I said, I use SafeMoon's name to promote Evergrow. And I was like, and like tons of people made tons of money. And so what's the problem there? And it's like, not only are they upset at people for talking about other projects, which is just stupid in and of itself, because you should invest in more than one project, but also because John Caroni comes on with the SafeMoon swap, and it seems like you got wrecked harder by the SafeMoon swap than you did by any other project that anybody within SafeMoon has told you about, probably, right? And it's like, it's okay for John Caroni to use SafeMoon's name to get paid 250,000 or more to promote another project to you. Like, do you guys even think about that? John Caroni, some project reaches out and says, hey, we want to be on the swap. And John Caroni says, well, I have a massive group of people that are going to look at your project. You have to pay at least this much. And it's like 250,000 or more. Or maybe they have some smaller deals as well, but they have more, we can pay more as well. And we'll heavily promote you to the product. Like, the reason that they can do that is not because they have this amazing swap or this amazing features on the swap. It's because you're the ones that are being promoted to. And so once again, the SafeMoon army being taken advantage again, and John Caroni and the team's making all the profits. Not only are you losing money in SafeMoon, but now you're losing money in all these other projects too, that everybody mindlessly believes in. Like, oh no, don't trust anything unless the one's on the swap. And it's like, oh my God, it's actually, this should be a movie one day. It's just hilarious how everything has gone down. And if you watch this movie, it's probably going to look like freaking zombies in like a cult based on like the behavior. And I'm sorry to say that if you're somebody who did that or is doing that, but that's just what it looks like on the outside.
Oh, I totally believed back in the beginning. I really believed in the project. I was always invested in other things, but I got sucked into it as well, without a doubt. And it's only now that I've come out and had a few months away, sort of look back at it all, I think, bloody hell, what were you doing? And I still sort of follow a few people on Twitter, and I still see some of their updates, and I still think some of these people are still in this zone where they think this is going to be life changing and huge, and putting tweets out things like, "Oh, I wonder what SafeMoon are going to do for their birthday this year." It's all gone a bit quiet, and I'm thinking, yeah, they didn't do anything for the last 3 years. What's? Yeah, I don't know. It's a shame, really, but it is what it is. I'll move on, and I just hope a lot of other people realise before it's too late. Really.
Have you do you watch my YouTube videos at all, or?
I used to, yeah. When you used to do all
I'm
your
not going to
maths.
be offended. Oh, okay.
No,
Oh, okay.
when you used to do all your maths, and when we were talking about reflections and stuff like that. Yeah, I used to watch you. I used to watch Alan Bergman. Used to watch SafeMoon. Used to watch a lot of you. And then slowly, one by one, everyone sort of started leaving, and I think the biggest thing for me is when SafeMoon Joe turned. When SafeMoon Joe turned, that was it. Do you know what I mean? Like, it just,
Yeah,
everything
the
went
biggest
really.
hype man of SafeMoon ever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so I was just curious. And I think honestly, the sentiment right now is so down. Like, if you this is probably one of the worst times in some sense to start a crypto project, because everybody's just burnt out. People are low on money. The economy's not great, and people are getting scammed for so long. How many times can you get wrecked in a project before you finally start losing hope? Or how many times can you be promised the world and stop and keep getting screwed to the point where you just finally stop investing? Oh, okay, I was wondering why the door is open. Hey, babe. Oh, okay. Sounds good. So yeah, I think this is one of the worst times to start a crypto. It's one of the hardest times to start a crypto, but in one sense, but it also might be one of the best times if you're planning for the bull run, if you have something legitimate. And that's kind of like one of the things we were talking about last night. Me and Generation Crypto actually having a really good conversation. And if you guys want to come up and share your knowledge on the Twitter side or on the YouTube side, definitely appreciate that. Anybody's welcome. It's pretty casual. I'll be respectful to you regardless of what you believe, so don't worry about that. And if you guys are on the YouTube side, do me a favor and hit the like button. That'll help get more people in. I don't get anything for that, any money or anything. It just might get more people in on the YouTube side of things. But yeah, on like, to me, I don't know if you've ever heard anybody break this down. You're definitely welcome to comment on this if you feel like it, which is like, what are the components that are needed for a project to blow up? And I think that there's maybe like two different approaches that I can think of. There's probably more, but just the ones I can think off the top of my head is, one, people are buying into an idea, and it doesn't matter what the project does. The idea that's being sold to them is so convincing or so spectacular that people are going to buy into it, right? SafeMoon had that because SafeMoon never delivered anything. And the things that it has delivered have not done anything to the price but bring it down even further. So SafeMoon was just in this amazing idea of going safely to the moon with reflections and with the liquidity pool supposed to be locked, but it wasn't. And that idea in itself was new. And like, to me, that's a huge component. It's like, this isn't something that a lot of people have been exposed to. It had a lot of outside investors being brought into crypto for the first time. And people had the idea that they were getting in on something that, like, for me, one of the reasons I was really bullish on SafeMoon in the beginning was, I'm like, this is hard to do. Like, it's hard to get the wallet and to get it bought and to do all these slippage fees and to send it to the right thing. Like, it's complex. And if I can figure that out before it becomes easy, then maybe I'll be one of the early buyers. Like, that was my thinking. And it was like kind of true to some extent, but just didn't really apply to SafeMoon. So I don't know. I think that there's like, you can look at a project and see, is this solving any problems? What kind of backing do they have? Do they have corporations? Do they have a real team? Is the market that they're targeting one that is heavily competitive? Like you were talking about the wallets. I think putting all these ideas together, you can come up with a very clear idea that you can run projects through to see, maybe even give it a scale of like, what is the potential of this idea to really catch fire? And I think that it's a little bit easier to pay attention, in my opinion, to the ones that have real utility, like maybe XRP or some other, big, project that is aiming to do a lot, like Vitreus. If anybody wants to talk about Vitreus, they are doing something pretty big, in my opinion, if they succeed. And then there's just like projects that suck, or projects that don't have to deliver on what it is that they're saying, but the idea itself is one that is so spectacular, like I said, that people are going to buy into the idea. And to me, like, this is something, in my opinion, that's so important when we're going into the next bull run, is understanding this, that you have to pay attention to, is this idea going to catch fire or not? And then that's the one you want to get in early on. It might be something stupid, like a dog or something like, but we've kind of already been through that. So I think there's going to be something new. I know we're kind of dealing with the AI. We had a little bit of that AI. I think there's going to be more to come with the AI, because the AI is only getting even more insane and complex with ChatGPT and version 4 and Midjourney 5. The AI has just came out with version 5. Those things are insane. If anybody in here hasn't messed with Midjourney, if you go do that, you're going to feel like you're messing with magic. You go in there, or any other AI, you type in, slash imagine, whatever it might be. You say, I want to see a cat walking down a stairway at night while it's raining, and it just generates a beautiful image for you that looks great, and you can sit there and mess with it until you find the perfect one you want. That's insane, right? That's crazy. So I'm definitely gonna be probably putting on a video of doing my research and maybe trying to talk to as many people that are definitely way smarter than me as possible before I do this, to come out with that way to identify, like, okay, this project, it hasn't taken off yet because it's super early, but it has all the right components. It doesn't look like it's going to get rugged, and it looks like it has all the right components that people would buy into this idea. Even if they don't deliver on what it is that they're saying, enough people are going to buy into this, and I'll be able to make profits off of that. And I think that's a much better way to approach projects, is what they are instead of what they're aiming to be. Anybody want to come up or have anything to say to that? Because I'm out of breath. On the YouTube side, we got Hunter. What's up, Hunter? He says, hey, CC, can you talk about why you're bearish on Grove? Thanks, man. Hunter, I am not bearish on Grove at all. A lot of the things I've seen, because you guys might not know this, but the guy that researched SafeMoon for the past year before CoffeeZilla put out his video has been researching Grove. Like I just asked him, I said, hey man, have you looked at Grove? And then he went like fully deep into researching all their wallets. And because he's just good at doing that, like finding wallets and connecting them to public accounts and figuring out what they do, right? And I've heard just a lot of bad things that make me not even want to look at Grove, right? I'm open to being wrong on those things, but people that I trust have looked at it and they don't see anything good, and I kind of lean towards that. So I'm actually not bullish on Grove at all. Would anybody else like to come up and say anything about SafeMoon, any project that you want to talk about, or anything crypto related, or really just anything? You're welcome to come hang out. I'm just keep the space going a little bit longer, but I'm going to be doing these daily. I'm also going to be bringing on projects. I'm trying to get SquidGrow. I don't know about any of you guys in here like SquidGrow, to come do a space with me and discuss why, because you know SquidGrow has apparently a day one Shiba whale. That's the Shibtoshi guy, the leader of SquidGrow, and he's created SquidGrow, and he's trying to mimic, in some sense, I think, what Shiba Inu did as far as its growth and exploding in price. And he apparently has one of the main wallets that has like $1 billion something in it. He said obviously he couldn't pull that much out, but it has that much, and he's been funding SquidGrow with his own project. Those are the claims made by them. I don't know if he's fully proven that he is Shibtoshi, or is the SquidGrow whale, or I'm sorry, Shiba whale. But either way, I would like to have them on and talk about like, hey, why do you think this project blew up? What's your guys' goal to blow up in a similar way? And how do we look out for projects like this in the future? So I'm definitely going to be doing that. If you know a project that you would like to see on the space or talked about, definitely let me know. I don't pull back. Like I'm not gonna like beat around the bush with projects. I had this one project, and their utility was that they told people about new projects. They gave them like insider information. And I was like, well, wouldn't that just mean that they'd just be dumping on those people? He's like, oh yeah, you know, it's just kind of like, I was like, this sounds like a terrible project. And he left. So yeah, any projects you would like me to talk to or cover, definitely let me know. You know, I make the videos that I make. So I make, you know, videos that explain math or explain the idea of a project in a simple way of what it is you're aiming to do. If you yourself want to make a project, if you have like if you're not just a scammer or you just have some stupid idea, even if you have a stupid idea but you just want to try it, you can get in touch with me. You can message me on Twitter, and I can get you in touch with a dev team that will do anything you need: websites, launch pads, marketplaces, wallets. They can basically do anything. And I'm going to be partnered with them. They're called Dapt, and DeFi Mark works. It's like, I don't know if he created it or if he's an owner of it, but he's some major role within that community. And there's a lot of great people within that company. So I'm going to be promoting them as well, and I get like a percentage. If I bring work to them, I get a percentage. So it's just like a win-win-win for everybody. If you have a project and you don't know how to create it, or let's just say you know a project that has terrible devs and the devs suck, because you know that's a huge problem that people run into the space, is that there are basically every dev team is going to tell you, yeah, we can do it, because they want the work and they want the money. And you find out a lot that the dev team sucks, and they'll get you like a bare minimum product after you've agreed to pay them, so that they can just get their money and give you the least amount of work thing they can give and just get out. And I think that with Dapt, you are going to find that it might take a while. It might take longer than you want, a lot longer, but they're going to get it done how you want, at least. And that's depending on what you need done. If you don't need something crazy done, then it will go a lot faster as well. So just keep that in mind. If you know a project, or if you're wanting to start your own projects, you think you have a great idea, just reach out to me and I'll get you in touch with the devs and see if your vision can come true or not. It's going to be the last call on the Twitter side. Anybody have anything they want to come up and say? And on the YouTube side, and if not, then I'm going to end this today. And the next one, I'll try to bring on some projects to talk more about this. Hey, William McLaren says SquidGrow is the way on the YouTube side of things. Hear this now. 1 year from everyone will know the name SquidGrow. Like for me, I'll be honest with you guys. I own like around $1,000 in SquidGrow. and I'm still holding it. So like for me, I'm like, well, if he is who he says he is, then he has a lot of money and potentially a lot of pool. And if that ever took off and I missed that, those are sometimes how I invest is like if, and maybe that's back to the idea that we're talking about. Is like, what is an idea that people invest in? Maybe the idea is if this took off and I didn't invest in it, I'd feel like an idiot, right? And I felt that way a couple times lately. One was Metaset Go, which I'm actually not as bullish on anymore, not trying to flood anybody's bags. Uh, but Metaset Go had Snoop Dogg following them. And they were saying that Snoop Dogg was going to be doing some promotions or something along those lines, right? Well, if you look at Snoop Dogg's account, he doesn't follow many people. It's like 40 or 100. It's like a low number, right? It's not like insane. And I'm like, well, that's pretty bullish for me. If Snoop Dogg ever says anything about this project, it might blow up. And this is like my early chance to get in this. And I would feel like an idiot if I didn't invest in this. If that Metaset Go exploded, did like a, huge 1000x, 10,000x or something, and I said, yeah, I knew that Snoop Dogg followed them, but I did, I just thought, I'm gonna be a scam or something. I feel like a ginormous jackass, right? So maybe that's a huge idea to pay attention to when it comes to looking at projects is would you feel like an idiot for not investing in this? And would other people feel like idiots for not investing in this? And that in itself might be a huge, selling point for that project. But XRP lawsuit, how is this going? I'm actually not sure, Hunter. I need to double check that. I think there's just updates going on with right now. But yeah, I think this is a good point to stop this today. I appreciate everybody stopping by. If you wanted to come up and speak, you're always welcome to. If you feel shy or whatever, if there's something you want to say, you're always welcome.